morning, all. Hello, you all. Thank you for coming in to the live. I want to get on here and talk to you all about a silent enemy, something that can lurk inside the soul because the soul is an absorber of information, of energy. The soul is just taking in. And the Bible tells us we have to guard gates to the soul. We have a choice to guard our eye gates, guard our ear gates, because the soul is always out fishing and taking in and absorbing information, and it can absorb bad information and good information. It's ready. So we have to be on alert and take care of ourselves. So we're talking about Hannah and Peninnah here from the book of 1 Samuel. You all come on in. You're welcome. My name is Vanessa. And let's get into this discussion today. The Bible says that there is nothing new under the sun. Things that have been always will be. It's right now and it's going to be forever. Situations, life advances, I would say. People live in different dispensations of time, and knowledge advances so that what was primitive at one point is more advanced at another point. But the human feelings don't change. Human thoughts about their will and their constitution for life, that's the same. Speech change, dialect, and some cultural ways adjust. But the basics of who a human is, it's the same. So we're looking at this story today, and I'm going to pull out or add in a little attitude here in this story. Not to take away from the story, but just to bring some today reality or behavior types that is right now occurring. It's not new. This is not new. So let's go to the book of 1 Samuel, first chapter. And I'm not going to read the whole chapter, but jump around a little bit here in 1 Samuel. But we're looking here at 1 Samuel, and the first verse, we identify Elkanah, who is the husband to two wives. And he is from the tribe of Ephraim. In verse 2, he had two wives. The name of one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. And this man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. And the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priest of the Lord, was there. And when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife, and to her sons, and to her daughter portions. But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah, but the Lord has shut up her womb. Now that's the premise of the story right there. So in the rest of verse 1, chapter 1, because we're staying here in chapter 1, is what I'm pulling on right here for this story. We're talking about Hannah and talking about Peninnah, their interaction, and then adding Elkanah in there. We see a couple of key points right there. Children is involved, two wives, and a husband. And it points out there at verse 5, Elkanah loved Hannah. Now going on, I'm not going to read the whole chapter to you, but pointing out that life ain't different. What always has been still is. Peninnah had these children. And think about what can happen in the dynamics of a relationship. Your relationship, my relationship, relationships all around you. How do things normally play out? One woman won't shut up. She haven't had any children. It doesn't tell us how long they've been married here. But still, we're looking at there's an adversarial relationship happening between these women. We see that in the next verse, in verse 6. It says that Peninnah provoked her. She picked at her until the point that this woman became sick and fretful. So what did this poking and picking look like? Day after day. Because this come time to they're getting ready to go up to Shiloh to make their annual pilgrimage for the offering and the sacrifice. But before we get to Shiloh and get to the time of going up, because this is an annual thing, what's happening day to day with these women? They're doing day-to-day activities of cooking and cleaning and managing and sewing and whatever the duties were for everyday operation. They're around each other. They live in the same little village. Peninnah's children are playing out there. Elkanah is the husband to both of them. So, but what about this picking? How is she picking at the woman? Both of them are rightfully there. Elkanah married them. So both of them have a right to be there. They're with their husband. Well, the same thing women always do. Not all women, but most. Drama. Things like, because it's pointing out that she's poking at her. When women say, using their children as a pawn. Come here, little sissy. Talking to her daughter. Girl, listen at this girl laughing. She sounds just like her dad. Girl, if she was a boy, she'd be a twin. Talking to other women in the village. But she's talking to Hannah because she's in earshot, but indirectly talking to her by talking to these other women. Poking at her. Here come the son. Look, boy, turn around. Your head shaped just like your daddy. Dad need children, something else. Poking at the other woman. She don't have no children. Women can behave like that. Now, we can't make Hannah innocent either, because she says she's fretful. How is it that you're going to be fretful when this man, you decide to marry this man? He asked you to marry him and you took the offer. Whoever was married to him first, it don't say that. Was Hannah there first? Was Peninnah there first? But they have a little harem here. She agreed to be there. Her interaction is with her husband first. But look at her energy that she's pouring out here in this relationship. She's fretful. She's allowing herself to grieve. Because she can interact with the children unless the mother is refusing to let her interact with the children. I'm not going to add too much in here to say what it was actually going on with Hannah, what was actually going on with Peninnah, other than what the scripture says is they was fighting. They had an adversarial relationship. Here is Elkanah stuck in the middle of two wives because everybody's attention is darted over toward Hannah. Peninnah is looking at her for one reason, to pick at her. Elkanah is looking at her through love and compassion. Babe, you all right? Checking on her. Because it says that he gave portions to Peninnah and the sons and the daughters to get ready to go to the pilgrimage. And then he gave a double portion. I'm hollering, ain't I? Let me slow down and digress a little bit. He gave a double portion to Hannah. Why? Why she need a double portion? Was she going to get over there to the priests, Hophni and Phinehas, and they're going to say, ooh, you brought a lot. I'm going to tell Daddy Eli to pray double for you. She didn't need no double portion. But this, again, Elkanah's compassion going out to her because he loved her. And he knows her situation. And he knows you can't live in an environment in your home and amongst the people you're involved with, and you don't know the vibes and what's going down there. So he knows that Peninnah picks at her. He knows how them children are being used as a pawn. So he's giving Hannah a little extra attention, trying to preserve and conserve her feelings, paying attention to her emotions, checking in on her. Babe, you all right? Here it is when they get to the to Shiloh, it says that after they have ate and drank, everybody have eaten, Hannah gets up so she can go off to herself. And she's crying and she's praying. But she's so grieved and heavy in her spirit that it caught Eli's attention. He's sitting outside taking a break, sitting on a little stoop or something on the post. And he caught notice of her and said, "Woman, how long you going to be drunk? Put that wine away from you." And she said, "No, sir, it ain't like that. I got a petition before the Lord." And we know that he prayed for her and she could see. And then later, after about a year, time for the annual trip to Shiloh again, she tells her husband, "I don't want to go. I'm going to stay here and spend time with my child, because after the child is weaned, I'm going to dedicate him to the Lord. So he be raised as a Nazarite. No razor should come up on his head, and he learned to be in service to the Lord." She gave a sacrifice. So, but also, Hannah could not have grieved like that unless she had envy for that woman, Peninnah. Peninnah had the children, something that she desired to have and give to her husband, a seed. Once she was, now this don't say that they stopped picking at each other. They could have went on and kept picking at each other, because Hannah did go on to have some more children after she didn't have Samuel. But at the same time, envy is a silent weapon. It's a silent, grievous enemy that can sit rested in our own soul. We're in charge of our soul. If I have children or don't have children, how do I treat my stepchildren? How do I look at them? What is my interaction with their mother? If that's contentious, if it seems like, because it don't just have to be the story like right here, one woman don't have children and the other one does. It could be in a situation, we see it all the time. You and I may have experienced it. I did. Years ago in a marriage, I suffered that. I was envious. I didn't know it was envy. And I was grieving myself to the point of being sick, like I got an ulcer, stomach just jittery. Envy. She envied that woman because she had them children. Because a husband or a father can treat one set of children different than he treat another set of children. And a mother can, again, she could be envious of their relationship and pass that off to her children too, because our children see how we behave. They're feeling our energy. So envy can come in many forms. The woman don't just have to be barren. It could just be two sets of children by the same man, two different women. So this is what's going on with Hannah. That's what's going on with Hannah. It wasn't all just on Peninnah. Peninnah was in the wrong. She's a Grinch. She's got something like the Grinch in her teeth. She was a mean little heifer. She was picking at this woman because she you don't just go out and pick up kids like you go pick up grocery at the supermarket. You got to conceive, and then you got to bring forth. So she was messing with her. She was just being mean. But going on in the story right here, we see what the sacrifice was. She gave unto the Lord. When we ask something of God, God do ask something of us back. Every single one of us. He asks of something from us back. Now, New Testament saints, God asks for our commitment to him. He says, live as a living sacrifice. Give self. Don't you dare hurt yourself, y'all. Don't hurt this vessel. That don't please God. He says, live holy, so you be acceptable unto the Lord. So live as a living sacrifice, to learn to live holy. That's what God calls of us. Not to give up our children. Live holy unto the Lord. That's a living sacrifice unto the Lord. Give up of yourself. Give up your attitude. Give up of your selfishness. Ask God. Give up of maybe some career ambitions. If God asks you for something, you know that's one thing that can hold us back from God. And growing in our relationship and progressing right there is asking God, what do you want from me? You know, a lot of believers, they could be hesitant, not everybody hesitant of asking God that question because you're afraid of the answer. God may ask you to back up from a goal, back up from something you've been working 15 years to accomplish. And God said, put it down. Don't use that skill no more. And you don't want to hear that because you're accomplished and you don't want God telling you stop. So we can sit on the outer parameters with God and just do our devotionals, our prayers, our fasting, and we're doing community service. We're doing it too. We're busy about being busy. But God said, I want your attention. I want all of you, your mind, your strength, everything. Give it to me. Are you willing to give it over to God because you are, or are you afraid he might ask you for something and you don't know what it is he might ask you for? And we don't know that. We don't know until we get into that relationship and start delving in closer and closer. Draw me close to thee. Never let me go. I lay it all down. So looking here at envy. Envy is silent. Envy will sit in you and it will consume you because the spirit of envy is saying, I can do that too. I can have that too. You're not smarter than me. Me too. Like the Me Too movement. Now, I'm not making light of the Me Too movement, the thing about women. But it's the same concept. Me too. I can do that too. Let me show you. I'm going to compete. Me too. When all you have to do is just live your life. You can't compete with another human for being them. We can compete with skills, but not for being that person. Be truly, authentically you. Thus goes our relationship with God. You can't duplicate your relationship with God the way somebody else conduct their relationship with God. God custom made you. He wants you. He wants me. My walk with God should not look like your walk with God. We are two totally different sisters, two totally different brothers. All of my life experiences culminated me. So what he asked of me, I might have to do it different from how you do it. I'm not talking about general things like lying, cheating, stealing, laying down, jealousy, all that type of thing. That's general to the believer. But there's some customized things that my God might call on me for, pull on me for, in my space, in my energy, in my soul, that he don't pull on you like that. That's why it's a sin and shame to try to duplicate our fellow sister and fellow brother and not being true to self. God can't use us looking over in somebody else's lane. What you doing over there? I want to do that too. Why? You can't handle what they're doing. So I just wanted to bring that story to you about that sacrifice that Hannah gave unto the Lord after he opened her womb and gave her her petition for her prayer. She gave her child over. That didn't mean she didn't see her child anymore. She went up for the annual pilgrimage and brought him more clothes that she knitted and sewed for him, prepared for him. But what are you and I giving to the Lord? Because he's going to pull on you and ask you for something. Are you willing to give God what he asks you for? Thank you all for coming in to the live. Thank you all for being here. Lucian, Sister Danielle, thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all's time for being with me today. I want to jump on here and share this story with you. Hannah was not totally innocent there. She had a role to play in being accountable for her own feelings, for what she was contributing there in that marriage and in that community relationship. But her eyes were so focused on the interaction of that woman with her children and Elkanah. She was consumed. Elkanah was doing all he can trying to soothe her. He said, aren't I better to you than 10 sons? But she wasn't trying to hear that. He could be as loving as he wanted to, attentive as he wanted to. When envy got your focus, you just like this, like a horse with blinders on. That's all you refuse to be soothed. You refuse to be comforted. Your attention is right there, and the human soul ain't different. Ain't nothing to condemn ourselves about. We're just supposed to keep being honest with self. Be honest with self if you ain't gonna be honest with nobody else. Get clear before the Lord. He said, come to me naked. Isn't that what we hear over in Genesis? Nakedness is not just disrobing our body. He said, don't hold nothing from me. Be truthful in your soul. Come to me and tell me, Father, I think I'm jealous. I think I might have envy. Open up. Another human don't hear you. This is in the privacy of your relationship and your communication before the living God. Father, clean me. Show me what I look like before you. What do I look like? We just can't say I'm righteous. But I have confessed Jesus to be Lord. Yeah, we have done that. That secures the spirit. We commending our spirit back to the Lord and got to keep feeding the spirit, man, so he gets stronger and stronger and stronger. But what about the soul? That's a learned man. He got to keep exchanging information. And that soul is an absorber. We're absorbing energy and behaviors and habits all around us all day. Every day, we interacting with our fellow human. And we could take in stuff and don't realize we done took in something that we didn't want to take in. That's why we have to keep purging. Purge me, Father. Take out of me what you don't like in me. The soul is an absorber. So this ain't condemnation for nobody. It's just us getting clean and honest before God. Confront ourselves. Because we can be just like Hannah. It's so innocent. It's so easy to do. Envy will hide in you and make you sick. You feel like you got an ulcer. You got a little smear on your face all the time. And don't know why you're wearing it on that till somebody pointed out, why you look like that? Why I look like what? I didn't know I was looking like that. We just here in this human cavity. That's why we need each other, love on each other, pull on each other, provoke one another to righteousness. Because we can end up just like Peninnah and just like Hannah. I got these kids for him. That's their dad. That's their daddy, baby. That's my baby daddy. That's my baby daddy. And you picking at this other woman. Because she could not control what was going on with her body until due time when God saw fit to open her womb and bring forth seed. That's God's business. But yeah, that contentious relationship between those two women, both of them was fighting at each other with each other, and both of them bear responsibility for their own self. Both of them are accountable for what they was doing to each other, because Elkanah was standing in the middle, trying to stand between two women and keep peace around there. Because every biological parent loved their children. Why would Elkanah try to stand back and preserve Hannah's feelings so much that he refused to interact with his children? Why would he do that? He want to hug them, toss ball or whatever they were doing with the boys. But if it was hurting Hannah's feelings because he kept checking in on her, babe, you all right? He can't babysit her. She's a grown woman. But that is what we pull on. We will pull on that husband, talking from a woman's vantage point. We will pull on him, trying to get him closer to us. Though logically, you know that's his kids. He need to spend time with his kids. Those his children, they love him and he loved them. But that energy come in that soul, because the soul be sick with jealousy and envy. And you trying to get between that relationship with their husband, their dad, and them children. Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. You gotta admit it to yourself. If you don't admit it to nobody else, you trying to get between that relationship with their biological parent, because men can do it too, and those biological children. Because envy and jealousy is a secret enemy, and it will hide out in you, where you would defend yourself and won't admit, I'm envious. I'm jealous. Because I don't like how he gives them attention. Don't give my kids that kind of attention. I don't like it. I'm going to try to break this up. Try to cause some confusion in here. But the conversation is totally different. Because it was because this. I heard a lady down in this apartment complex where I live. Now, I don't know the people. So, this is not gospel. I'm not finna give you nobody name because I don't know no names. And if I did, I wouldn't give you their names. We're just talking about life. I'm getting in my car, getting ready to go somewhere, and I hear this commotion. And they just are yelling and going on. So I'm trying to find out where it's coming from. So as I'm going on down, here's a lady in her car. She's ramming. She's trying to get this car up off the parking lot up onto the grass. It had rained that day or the night before, so everything is wet, soggy. And she done got out the car. She's clapping her hand. She ran back to the car, and she looking for something in that car. And now my energy is like, oh my goodness, I hope nothing bad is nothing happened here. So I just pull over the car and park it, and I'm like, ma'am, is everything all right? Everything? Yes, yeah, ma'am, yeah. This ain't got nothing to do with you. But the man standing off on the grass because she was trying to get her car up off the pole. So I'm trying to talk to her. It wasn't my business, but my little feelings just got, I'm going to intervene and just do some humanitarian service. So I'm like, ma'am, because she ran back to her car. Remember, she looked for something. She came out of there with a knife. I said, ma'am, you don't want to do that. He can overpower you and take that knife. This ain't got nothing to do with you. This ain't got nothing to do with you. I said, I know it. I know it. Because then she going up, she's sweating. It ain't that hot outside to be sweating. So she's sweating because she's so mad. She's infuriated. And the man, he just kept walking. She kept walking because after she tried to get that car up there and eventually gave up on getting the car off the parking lot, she'd running around with this knife. And I'm telling her, ma'am, you don't want to do that. So she'd push me, not push me physically, but she, diverted, getting me out of her business. And then she jumped back in the car because she's sweating. She just all over the place. And I said, sir, this just emotions talking. He said, I know it. So she goes on. She said, when I don't get welfare, I work every day. And when my kids eat, his kids eat. I said, okay, that's about another woman. Because she said, when my kids eat, his kids eat. And she had given him some money, I guess, supposedly. And I want my money back. So it ain't supposedly. I want my money back. I said, I'll give you the money. How much is it? I give you, she said, $100. Because you having a conversation with me now? I said, I'll give it to you because I don't want to see her get hurt. But see what emotions would do when children are involved. And then there's another person get involved other than the individual you having a relationship with. Life ain't new. Life ain't new. It's just man and woman interaction. So I'd have been on here long enough. This video, 26 minutes. Let me jump off of here. Thank you all for coming in and participating. I appreciate you all. Take care.